This is wrestling.
Thank you for having me.
You're from Georgia, right?
I am, yes.
That's a hotbed of wrestling. Did you grow up watching wrestling?
Yeah, so I grew up watching wrestling, and obviously there's a lot of wrestling fans in Georgia, but when I was getting into it, there was no schools around me at all. I had to go to Atlanta to go to a wrestling school. Growing up, huge fan. My dad was a huge fan, so that's kind of how I started watching it. He would watch Georgia Championship Wrestling.
Are you currently still in Georgia?
I am in Georgia. I moved to Atlanta, to actually train full time.
Who are you trained by?
I am trained by QT Marshall and also Glacier as well. Glacier is actually how I got introduced to QT and the whole school in Atlanta. So trained by both.
This has been a big year for you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot's been going on. You have your own action figure.
Oh yeah, it's so weird. But so cool. Never thought I would have one. So yes, it's super cool to see.
I love seeing this. When did you see this in the wild for the first time?
Honestly, probably only like 2 months ago. So I looked for it ever since it came out, never found it. I would find some of the Dark Order guys, but I never saw mine. And then I went into a Target in Atlanta and I saw every single one of the Dark Order. So I bought all of them. So that was a really cool thing to see. It was every one of them in the collection.
What a great moment for you, and I'm glad to see it. What are your memories of Texas wrestling?
I remember when we went to Texas around last year, how loud it was and how much of a town it was to go for wrestling. We know that Texas is a huge wrestling fan community, so it's cool to come there.
What can they expect with this coming event?
I think Winter is Coming has been one of our really cool shows to go to, so I think this is going to be a big one.
Yeah, for sure. One of my favorite moments of the year was at Fighter Fest with you and Ruby.
Oh, yeah.
That was explosive.
Those things are kind of a whirlwind, so, it kind of happened really fast. I don't remember much of it, but I do remember the crowd reacted, which is what you want. And yeah, that was a really cool moment for all of us, I think. And I think it was cool just because people really didn't know what I was going to do. Obviously, Ty and I had been a tag team for a long time before, but then out of nowhere, it was kind of me and Ruby were tagging more, and I wasn't really seen with Tainara, so no one really knew what was going to happen. I was nervous, but that was super cool, and I think they reacted well and how we wanted, so that's good.
She's seen a ghost, but it's not a ghost. It's Saraya here. Run! Saraya in AEW. Holy smokes! What a moment! That's called a pop, baby. Wow, what a reaction.
That's got to be one of the loudest pops that I've heard. Loved seeing you having that moment. Did you know her before she came to AEW?
Never had met her, but that was a super cool moment for me and every woman in the locker room.
After the Britt Baker match, did you speak to Saraya at all?
Yeah, as soon as I saw her, I think she did amazing, and I told her that as well, especially for not being in the ring for, 5 years? Vibes are always good at pay-per-views, and we had 3 women's matches, which is a super cool thing too, so I think everyone was happy with that.
Who is a dream opponent or a program you would like to work with?
It's a good question. I would say I would love to work Jamie Hayter again. And I also loved working Toni Storm. I finally got to do that. That was a huge goal of mine. I will say every match that I have, I feel better and better about what I'm doing and better about being where I am. Getting signed in general was a huge moment for me. This is what I've dreamed of, and this is what I've always wanted to do.
I'm always entertained. I'm excited to see you. You can't really teach that.
I'm glad you feel that way. And that's definitely what I've worked off of. That's kind of my whole character in the beginning, star of the show. That was kind of what I wanted it to be and what I wanted it to feel like, to entertain people and put on a show. And that's my goal every time. Obviously, the wrestling is a huge part. But my goal at the end of the day, I think, is to just entertain and put on a show. So that is kind of my thing. So thank you.
That chokehold you're doing is just badass.
Thank you. Yeah, that's definitely a cool finish. It might have seemed simple in the beginning, but kind of where it came from and how it's progressed now, I'm so happy with it and I love it. And I think it's cool for my character. I like to watch it every time to make it better each and every time that I go out there.
Talk to me about reuniting with Ty Conti.
It just kind of made sense for right now. She joined Jericho's group, and that was an opportunity that I really didn't want to turn down because he's such a legend and so talented and someone that I wanted to learn from. So that was kind of a no-brainer.
I feel like people want to see you two together. Do you feel that way too?
I definitely think so. I think that's kind of the whole point of us being back together, is because people wanted to see us tag more and be together more. Obviously, people not liking us now, it's a little different, because before I think they did, but they still want to see us as a tag team regardless of the situation.
Do you see yourself primarily right now as a tag team wrestler or a solo wrestler?
I mean, I would say right now, based on what I've been doing, probably a solo wrestler, just because, like I said, we have not been tagging that much. I would say I'm a solo wrestler with a group, It's kind of like how I was with Dark Order. I had a group with me, but I was a solo wrestler. So, yeah, I think right now I'm by myself, it seems, which is okay with me. I think that's great, and I love tag team wrestling as well. I'd obviously love to do both, but yes, right now it seems that I am more on a solo adventure.
PWI came out with their women's wrestling issues. Your ranking came in at number 103. The fact that you're not in the top 10 is bullshit.
It's definitely cool to see my name on the list, and I try not to really look into those things too much. I know a lot of people really obsess over it, but for me, if I do, then I'll be upset. So I just don't. But I mean, to be ranked at all was super cool for me.
What are some goals for you in 2023?
Keep getting better, wrestling the girls who are great at what they do, and it makes me a better wrestler too. To be a champion, that'll always be my goal.
Have you ever thought about some high flying stuff?
I actually would love to. I am a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. I would definitely have to practice it and conquer my fear. I actually did something off the second rope this past Wednesday against Willow, which is like out of my comfort zone. So I'm going there. It's going to take baby steps.
You've had a couple of injuries.
I've had the 2 injuries, and they've both been on the same shoulder. I danced all growing up. That helped me. I use my legs a lot more, and I don't have to use my shoulder as much. I have shitty shoulders. So I've actually had an injury prior to wrestling that was serious.
What is your favorite AEW event of the year?
Double or Nothing. Such a good experience. I've never wrestled on a pay-per-view. And being in Vegas was also cool. It felt like a really big deal. All pay-per-views are really cool.
I feel people responding more to you as more of the entertainer type or that heel persona? Which one do you feel best with?
I feel best with the entertainer one. That for me has been really fun and get into my character more.
I think 2023 is going to be your year. Thank you. Take care. We'll see you later.
Yes, you too.
Bye-bye.